Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for our third session of the D2C Multiverse live stream series. My name's Sarah, and I'll be your host today. Today, we have Soumajit, who is the CEO and co-founder of Styched, bringing his extensive entrepreneurial and corporate experience to drive the company's growth. Styched is an affordable, fast fashion e-commerce brand that offers end-to-end fashion with a major focus on sustainability. Huge hot topic this year is sustainable fashion. The brand has rapidly expanded globally, delivering to over 20,000 PIN codes. Soumajit has earned the title of most influential e-commerce professional in India in 2018-2019 by the Asia Retail Congress. So let's get started. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey from working on the marketing side of e-commerce to being a founder of an e-commerce brand.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me to the live stream. My journey has been fairly diverse. I am an engineer by education. I did my metallurgical and materials engineering from IIT. And then I was a software developer for about a year and a half before moving to something that I really wanted to do as a profession. So I moved to marketing, digital marketing, brand marketing part of it. Worked with Jabong, the marketplace, fashion marketplace in India, and then joined Capillary and worked with almost 150 plus brands across India, Middle East, Southeast Asia. And me and my co-founders, what we realized is that there are some common problems that we could see that most of the fashion brands were facing, not just in India, but globally. And we could solve them through the use of technology, through the use of some innovation. So that's where the whole idea of Styched sparked. We kind of had an initial discussion in 2017, and then we slept over it for almost a year. 2018 is when we thought that we have to get into it. So we registered the company, and we started off with the production on demand technology. So we wanted to create something which is zero wastage, absolutely zero inventory, zero warehouse, very lean in terms of operations. So we had to create that algorithm. We had close to 18 fashion designers to kind of run the whole algorithmic pattern block mechanism that we have. Then we went on to patent that process because we created a really disruptive, just-in-time kind of a model. And that's where the whole journey started. I mean, we went live in 2019, February. We started off in a small way through menswear only, just to see the market, just to see how things are moving along. Expected to get close to 100, 200 orders. Ended up getting more than 2,000 orders. And we were like, hey, this is going to be something serious. I mean, this is a business end of the day. And we started supplying in Bangalore, and then eventually we started getting orders from across India. So we started doing the tie-ups. We created our own hubs across the country. We have hubs across 4 places now across India. Soon after that, COVID hit. And thankfully, just before COVID hit, we raised our first round of funding so we could go through the first lockdown phase. And then we thought that, we'll raise another round of funding. We raised the second round primarily to boost up our women's wear segment or new categories. And then again, COVID hit in the second time. But thankfully, just before that, we closed the second round of funding also, so we could go through that. And then we realized that, hey, third time, if we get locked down because of the whole COVID issue, then we are not really doing things rightly, right? So we started off in Middle East. We started off in Dubai, Sharjah, because if India goes through another lockdown, then we still have geo from where we are getting businesses. We expanded the number of hubs because if Bangalore or Delhi goes under a lockdown, we still have production happening from other cities. So that's how we are growing. This year, we are expanding to Indonesia, Singapore. We just closed our third round of funding. And yeah, that's the story.
Congratulations. That's really exciting. You and your co-founders must be stoked for the year ahead and to see what's coming up next. So sustainability, as I mentioned in the intro, really hot topic. Brands are moving towards being more eco-friendly and sustainable in not only their production, but also like everything that they do. Carbon offsetting and all that fun stuff. How does Styched tackle the growing concern that sustainability in the fashion industry, how does Styched tackle the growing concern about sustainability in the fashion industry and incorporate eco-friendly practices into operation?
So we realize that there are 2 ways in which you can be sustainable, right? So one is the use of sustainable fabric, sustainable organic cotton and sustainable silk and stuff like that, where you don't use animal parts or they are biodegradable. The second part of it is how do you become more sustainable as a business from the supply chain part of it, right? The fabric part of it, the sustainability in terms of the fabric, is something which is very costly in India. And what we are trying to create in Styched is a very massy, affordable brand, primarily for tier 2 to tier 6 places, not for the tier 1 places, not for the metros, primarily tier 2 to tier 6, people between the age group of 18 to 25, and people who are mid, low income or low income group people. So we are trying to democratize fashion among those 300 million consumers in India, or the expats in the Middle East, the young population in Indonesia. So that's our target audience, right? So in order to be affordable, we could not really focus on the eco-friendly fabric part of it. But what we did over the last couple of years is we have made our process extremely eco-friendly. We have made our process extremely sustainable. So we are a zero wastage brand. We don't have any fabric which is wasted. 15% fabric wastage happens across the globe for fashion industry. In our case, it's zero, because we use a pattern block mechanism which is patented, wherein there's no fabric wastage. Whatever remnant or leftover pieces are there, we use to create packaging material for shipping. We don't have a warehouse. We have absolutely zero warehouse, zero inventory. We are just in time. Once an order comes, then the production happens. The production happens not on a SKU level, but at a pattern block level, which is something for a future conference. Maybe I'll talk about it because it might take a couple of hours. But it's a different kind of a thing, right? So we have no minimum order quantity. We can get 0 orders for a certain SKU. We can get 10,000 orders of a certain SKU or product. Does not matter to us. Right? So we are saving cost on warehousing. We are saving cost on unsold inventory, which is 25% globally. 25% inventory never gets sold globally for all other fashion brands. You might have heard they are put to land pits. There are some areas in India where the land catches fire because of the chemicals that come out of the fabric. Right? In our case, the unsold inventory is zero. The wastage fabric is zero. Warehousing is zero. The returns is almost nimble. It's around 4.1%. So that's what we have tried to achieve. We have used technology and process to become sustainable in terms of the business operations, in terms of how much of fabric we are consuming. We do not have any warehouse of fabric. Our backend predictively tells us how much of fabric to order only for the next 3 to 4 days. So we get only that much amount of fabric of different types in different hubs. And while we get the order, we already have those fabrics. So they're used up over the next 2 to 3 days. So essentially, if you come to one of our hubs, in the morning, you'll see a huge pile of apparel. They get packed, they get shipped. By the end of the day, it's empty. There's nothing left.
Wow, that's really interesting. And you said, so in the beginning, you didn't focus on the eco-friendliness of the material and the composition of the material, but more the process. Can you explain what marketing and acquiring your first 100 customers looked like in this brand new space?
See, we were very sure about the kind of audience that we are targeting. We knew that we are not really going for people who are brand focused or who are brand conscious. We are looking for audience who are price conscious. And so our target audience would mostly be in colleges or who have just graduated from college. They're going to do a job and they don't have too much of money to splurge on fashion. The way we know marketplaces like Myntra's or Zara's or H&M with 1,800 plus average order value, it's not affordable for most of the population, right? So we started off with that. We started off by targeting areas which are considered to be tier 2 to tier 3 in India. And we started targeting colleges, college students. We started our campus ambassador program. And we also started approaching some of the influencers and celebrities who resonate well with the young audience. And we started making their merchandise. And that's how we started our operation. I think the first month we got some 15, 20 orders. Second month, we got some 200 orders. Third month, it became 1,000. Fourth month, we crossed 2,500 orders. So we realized that, our marketing is on track. Facebook came up and tried to give us a 90-day program for helping us understand our customer. That really worked well for us. We did it in 2 different cohorts. We did not do it in one go, but we realized that 85% of our customers are between the age group of 18 to 25. They are from tier 2 to tier 6. We got the customer profile, the demography, and then we just started marketing. We created some organic channels as well. We realized affiliates is a big channel for tier 2 to tier 6. So we created our own affiliate program called stychedaffiliate.com. And we have close to 3,800 affiliates right now in India. So yeah, I mean, our marketing strategy has always been more organic, more democratizing the whole ecosystem of getting demand.
Awesome. So I'm going to pivot a little bit and we're going to talk about new commerce. So new commerce is different from the traditional model in that it focuses on products, inventory, and pricing. I am. It's 7:30 in the morning for me, so I'm a little catching up a little bit. New commerce is different from the traditional model that focuses on products, pricing, and inventory. It revolves around understanding evolving consumer behavior and needs and leveraging that knowledge to explore new shopping channels like D2C, resale, social commerce, etc. What are your thoughts on new commerce and how your business fits into that?
I have a different view on this. I actually feel that it's a little overrated the way people define new commerce versus old commerce. It's just a process of evolution that has happened. I have worked with a lot of companies that people would call traditional brands or traditional fashion brands. But they have done nothing wrong in terms of moving to new commerce as well. So previously, people used to create a brand, have their warehouse, sell it offline. Then came the whole era of marketplaces where Amazons and Mintras and Jabong of the world started selling apparel. People started buying online more. The behavior changed. The customer behavior changed. They started buying more online. And then brands realized that we can't really create a brand in marketplace. We can't really have a brand created out of Amazon or out of Myntra, right? We need to have our own presence in social media. We need to have our own presence as a brand, right? And that's where D2C evolved. If you look at some of the traditional fashion brands like, say, a Fab India or a Biba or, say, Indian Terrain, they are present online. They are selling through their website, and there's a considerable chunk of their business that happens online, right? So it's not that they are completely opposed to that. They have done all of that. The way I would look at new commerce or new companies are how they have been able to optimize or add more value to certain part of the supply chain, how they have evolved that. And traditionally, old companies find it very difficult to change the model because that would mean probably millions of dollars of investment to change a certain way in which they are operating all throughout, right? So I would consider that as more technologically evolved companies, right? But focus on customers, understanding the customer, reaching out to the customer is almost the same for all the brands. People are doing that. Even the old companies are doing that. Maybe the newer brands are a little smarter. They understand the digital world a little better. So they are able to reach out to the customers more in a more efficient way, use more channels, right? But the intent is always there for all the companies, the traditional companies, to explore all the new channels, to have an agency take care of that. So I think it's a little overstated the way we kind of completely differentiate or draw a line between traditional companies and new companies. It's just the way things have evolved over time.
Definitely. And it's kind of like retail has evolved into omni-channel, right? It's not just one or the other. It's a combination of all the inputs that create the customer journey. And it's very similar with businesses as well. And I know, so there's no differentiation really between traditional and new commerce. It's just what technology enables. And you talked about being zero waste, a technology-enabled company. Can you walk me through a little bit how you came to that, what type of research and development you might have done or questions you might have asked to arrive to where you are today?
Yeah, so I think there are two very distinct problems that we were trying to solve. The first problem is that of the price point. We wanted to reduce our average order value without compromising on the quality. So we wanted to be 1/3 or 1/4 of any other brand in the market in terms of the price point. The second problem that we were trying to solve is that of choices, right? So if you look at most of the fashion brands, there are two seasonal launches. There's spring summer collection, there's autumn winter collection, right? And that's because of the way the fashion brands operate. They will create a certain number of designs, they'll send it to bulk manufacturing houses for mass production, stock it up in warehouse, and then start selling it. So if after a month you come back and tell them, hey, can you create one more season or new set of designs? They would not want to do that because there's a huge amount of investment piled up in the warehouse. So we thought that let's remove the warehouse dependency, let's remove the inventory dependency, and then we can launch new designs every week. So we can take customer feedback. We can see what's trending on social media. We can see what other brands are doing across the globe. We can see WGSN trends, and then our fashion designers can create n number of designs every week, right? And so people find trendy designs, new designs every time they log into the website, while we don't have to remove any of the older designs because there's no inventory. So it's a win-win for all of us. So that was the thinking. That was the thinking we had behind creating the brand. And we realized that what we have to do is we have to, first of all, there are two challenges to this, right? So one is because you don't have an inventory, your time shoots up. When an order comes in, you have to manufacture that, which brings the second problem in terms of the consistency of output, because then you are too dependent on the tailor. The tailor's artmanship is what you are completely dependent on. If he or she makes a mistake, then your apparel goes for a toss. So we had to create a production on demand technology, which also standardizes the way manufacturing happens. And we don't need to be dependent on the tailor. So anybody who knows stitching can come like a DIY, like an IKEA for furniture. They can just look at the back end and blindly stitch it and the apparel would be done. So that's what we started creating. We created an algorithm which understands the pattern block mechanism, which extracts pattern out of any apparel photo that you upload on our backend, and then creates an algorithm out of it. Because of this, what happens is we are
Here's, we just lost our host for a minute, so our guest for a minute, so we're just going to hold tight. It's just going to rejoin and then we'll continue this conversation because I'm really interested in hearing what he had to say and his finished thoughts. So we'll just give it a minute. Welcome back.
Hey, sorry, I got kicked out.
Absolutely no need to apologize. It happens to the best of us during our very first live stream, and viewers might be interested in hearing this or not. But there's actually a snow thunderstorm where I am in Canada at the time of the event, and I thought we were going to lose power for sure. So these things happen during events and totally understandable. Did you want to continue your thought? Do you remember where you were? You were talking about the algorithm.
Yeah.
So you just spoke about how anyone can come in, quality assurance is there. The whole process is made for that consistency. And that's kind of where we had left off.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the second part of it was the tailors, right? So we realized that there are a lot of companies who are hiring tailors, but because of the huge amount of fixed expenses, capital expenses there, becomes difficult to run the operation at some point of time. So we created India's first Uber for tailors, where tailors can register, they can choose how much of stitching work they want to do. They can come, pick up the pre-cut material, take it back to their place, stitch it, give it back within 24 hours. A QC is done and the products are shipped. They get paid a percentage of the MRP of the product. So what happens is we do not have any internal tailors. We have more than 600 tailors in India, more than 72 tailors in the Middle East, and all of these people are paid on a per job basis, right? So these are the technological interference that we have done in the whole ecosystem or in the whole process, and yeah, that's how we are running the show.
That's really interesting, especially being the Uber for stitchers, as well as having the direct-to-consumer on-demand printing. So machine learning and algorithms must play a huge role in this. What does AI technology look like at Styched? How is it incorporated into other things that you do?
We do not have AI as of now. We are building the whole component on top of the machine learning layer that we have. We have 4 people who are dedicatedly working on the whole AI component. But the vision right now is that as of now, what we're doing is we are just looking at the historical data, and then we are predicting certain things in terms of how much of fabric to order, which kind of SKUs are selling more, which kind of prints are selling more, which kind of colors or subcategories are selling more, and then really creating a bell curve of all the categories or subcategories. And that's how the designers create new designs based on which categories are in demand right now. But yeah, the AI component will kick in shortly, and mostly it would be used for the recommendation engine. So you can imagine that we are uploading 800 to 1,000 designs every week. So you come to our website after probably a year, you'll see 200,000 designs, and it can be a little overwhelming for you to understand what to buy, right? And that's where I think AI would kick in, the recommendation part of it, to show you the right designs that you would want to buy or that you might like. And the proof of the pudding is what is the conversion rate looking like, right? With the addition of AI, is the conversion rate going up from where it is right now? So that is something that we are working on in a major way. Rest of it, in terms of the production, in terms of how much of fabric to order, what kind of designs, the design inputs that goes to the designers, is more on machine learning. It's more on data, past data and analytics.
That makes sense. And I guess just future thinking, what do you think AI could look like in the clothing industry, especially for sustainable clothing brands that might have lower budgets when getting started, but wanting to build up that eco-friendly brand?
Absolutely. So I think I was a part of this conference for eco-friendly fabric and sustainability in fashion. And one of the problems that everybody was saying is that the amount of investment that people have to do in order to get a certain number of SKUs done or inventory done is huge in terms of sustainable fabric, right? With AI, we actually would get to know at what point of time, for what season, for what section of the audience, or what kind of customers, which kind of SKU or fabric needs to be procured or needs to be bought, right? There are certain fabric which are a little thick, so you can't wear them during the summers. There are certain fabric which are a little thin, you can wear during the summer days or during the rainy season. So AI can predictively tell you which kind of fabric to order for which zone or which geo, right? In India, winters are prevalent in the north part of the country. Southern part of India are almost same, right, across the year. So to say that I'm going to launch hoodies for winter and you're going to sell that in a place like Chennai or Kerala will not make sense for you, because it's fairly hot at that part of the country, right? So AI will then start predictively telling you exactly, based on the previous year and based on the current trajectory, which kind of fabric to order, which kind of SKUs to prepare, and how to market that. Marketing is going to be an important segment where AI will play a lot of an important part, right? To understand whom to market, what to market, where to market, which channel to use, and what kind of conversion rate are you going to expect from that channel.
And speaking of conversion rates, what are you doing on your website to optimize for conversions? Are you doing anything differently that you'd like to speak to?
We are doing two things right now. So right now we are working with a AI-based company called Rosetta to create the whole recommendation engine, like I talked about. So based on the browsing behavior of the customer, it would understand what kind of SKUs to throw up on the website. So that is one. The other thing that we are working on is creating a lookbook, right? So when you buy something or add something to cart, we are now creating a lookbook which will tell you what other things would go with that SKU that you have selected. So you select a top, it will show this bottom wear will go well with the top that you have selected. So creating a lookbook, and that's for cross marketing. And then there's this recommendation engine which shows you the right kind of product, because there's a huge number of products, so it's easy to get overwhelmed with so many products.
Definitely. And I'm sure influencers and affiliates play a role in helping folks select the proper shirt or pants for what they're looking for. And you kind of touched to the affiliate program and having over 3,000 affiliates. Do you mind talking through how that came to be for your business?
So the idea was that we knew that as a new brand, we need to build that trust among customers. People should be confident about buying from us and knowing that we are not a fake brand, right? And for that, we wanted to approach celebrities, but we did not have money for that. So we thought that we'll start approaching influencers and do a barter, send them certain apparels, tell them to wear that, and then post it on their social media and see how much of incoming orders we get from that. After the first lockdown in COVID, we actually saw a huge spike in orders. At that point of time, we were getting close to 50 to 100 orders in a day. But on day one after the lockdown, we got 2,500 orders. Our whole backend, our whole manufacturing, supply chain went for a complete toss. We could not actually deliver those many orders because even the fabric hubs were under shutdown. So they took some time to send us the fabric. And we realized that that is the way to go. So when influencers start promoting you as a brand, it really helps. So we created an initiative called Styched Live, where we start tying up with celebrities and rock bands and other people who say that, hey, my merchandise is now live with Styched. Buy it from Styched and get a 10% discount, right? So those kind of initiatives we started taking up. And I think the final thing that we did was we realized that end of the day, our customers are college students, right? So our influencers should also be college students. So we started the campus ambassador program around 6 months back. We have got close to 65 campuses right now. And that is something that we are planning to expand in a big way.
Wow. Yeah, definitely finding the influencers that fit your niche. People like to see themselves reflected in the product and the marketing. So I could see how that would be a really great fit for your business, especially given your target audience. We have a few minutes left, so I'm going to leave you with this question. If you had any advice to share with fellow founders, what would be the number one piece that you've either received or you want to give?
I think what I have, my first startup did not do so well. Sorry, my first startup actually did well. We sold it off to another company, but the second startup did not do so well. Over the years, what I've realized is that in order to be successful as an entrepreneur, in order to make your business look, successful to at least to yourself in terms of the vision that you have for your business, it's very important that you build the right team. You surround yourself with the right people who kind of has the same vision that you have, who thinks similar in terms of the way you want to take the brand forward or take your business forward. So you have to be critical about yourself in terms of what you can do, how you can contribute to the business, but you also have to understand that you can't be the 360-degree player. You can't take care of everything. End of the day, the CEO would probably be focused more on investor relationship, on getting more funding. But you would need people, somebody to run the show, the operations, somebody to take care of the marketing, somebody to take care of the finances, the businesses, strategy, analytics, right? And you have to get the right people. And typically the right people are not the ones who come through a job search on LinkedIn or a job search through Naukri.com. They are people you know, they are people you trust and who would be there with you at least for quite some time. You give them ESOPs, you give them shares to keep them hooked onto your business. And that's how you create a founding team. So creating a team is super critical. And that is something I've realized the hard way. And in Styched, it has become really important for me to have created the right team, because now there are a lot of aspects which I don't have to bother about, because I know that one of my friend who's a co-founder is taking care of something or the other, right? So one of my batchmates from IIT is a CTO. One of my batchmates is a co-founder and COO. One of my ex-colleague from Capillary heads businesses. So I know all of these people and I've worked with them for all these years, right? So it builds a kind of a circle of trust. And that's very important for a business, right? If you want to really create a massive business, a unicorn of sort, you have to surround yourself with the right team who inspire you, who add to the areas where you are not good at, right? Say, for example, I am not good in technology. I'm good in marketing. Marketing is my domain, right? Operations is not my domain. If I go and start saying that, hey, I can do operations as well because it's my brainchild, so I know how to run the show, it's not really going to work out well. So you have to be critical of yourself and build the right team.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right? No matter how you slice it, it's totally important to surround yourself with people who have the same vision and want to see you grow and have complementary skills to you. So thank you so much for joining us today, Soumajit. I really, really appreciate it. Everyone, thank you for joining us again today. Make sure to join us next week for our D2C live stream Multiverse. And give Styched a follow. Check them out online. Check out all those brands and all the designs that they have on their website. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks.